forgot to turn my mic on. Hey, hey, hey. it's Steins a gate in time. Yes. Hey, Golden. Okay. Load. We left off on something with like a flashback with Suzuha and Daru, I believe.
父さん、治安部隊が万世橋まで来てる。
ということは、ここが発見されるのも時間の問題かな。あらかじめ流しておいた偽の情報も効果なかったか。
Why does future Daru almost sound like Poochie from the JoJo Stone Ocean, like part 6, the anime that just released? I swear to God, if that's like ends up being the same voice actor, that'll be strange. Hey, Draftkey. He sounds like Poochie though.
Oh, okay, zo.
すごい。こんなところに扉があったなんて。
What about voice acting? I'm not. What do you mean? I'm not sure what that question pertains to. Are you becoming a voice actor? It's something I've wanted to do, but I'll probably never be good enough to actually do it, so.
So, Nakai.
The room was almost totally empty and covered from top to bottom in soundproofing materials. You were just talking about voice acting. I got an ad, so I only heard the end of it. Oh, I was saying, future Daru's voice actor sounds like Poochie from part 6 in the JoJo anime. Not only was there no windows, there wasn't even a door to the hallway. The building they were in was Daru Poochie. No, not Made in Heaven, no. Based concept. Oh lord. You know Daru would use Made in Heaven for absolutely foul acts. God. The building they were in was once a symbol of old Akihabara, before it was almost entirely destroyed by an air raid during the last days of the Third World War. Only a few people knew about the secret room inside it. Busting a nut at light speed. Jesus. The biggest reason was its secret. The silhouette of what looked like a satellite sitting in the corner. I have no idea who the hell Mayuri is like holding there. Apparently the game doesn't know either. Suzuha spoke to the little girl clutching Mayuri's hand. Most of the children in this era had skin inflammations somewhere on their body from all the radioactive rain, but she didn't. Her name was Kagari Shina. Wait, Shina. Where have I heard that name in this novel? I feel like I remember someone having a surname of Shina. Her registration form said she was 10 years old, but no one knew if that was true. She was an orphan who'd lost her parents in the Tokyo air raids when she was a baby, and nobody knew her birthday. Golden might be onto something. It looks like Kurisu. It does look a little like Kurisu, doesn't she? The name Kagari had been given to her by Mayuri, who was working at the child welfare center that had taken her in. She took it from the word Kagaribi, meaning bonfire, in hope that she could be a light even in these dark days. It had been 4 years since Mayuri had adopted her, and her name on the registration form had become Kagari Shina. Oh wait, that's Mayuri's last. I'm stupid. God damn it. Fucking. Oh my god. I'm an idiot.
綺麗だねママ。
Oh.
そうね。
Suzuha had mentioned for the Shinas to step back and put her right hand and right eye up to the time machine sensor. The biometrics check cleared and the hatch slid open. Mayuri ascended to MILF status. I don't know, man. Still can't loot her. The use of fingerprints, voice recognition, vein/iris scanning, etc. instead of a password. Oh. Oh, there. I don't remember where I got that tip from. One of the bridges on the south side of Akihabara that crosses over the Konde River. The original Mansebashi was built in a different spot when new Mansebashi Bridge was built in its current location. The old bridge became known as Old Mansebashi. Oh my god. Mansebashi. Until it was taken down altogether in 1906. The bridge only came into its current arch shape after several rebuildings, including one after the Great Kanto earthquake. She's an adult now, still though. It's still Mayuri. She went inside and fastened herself into the seat.
これほど長時間の有人ジャンプは初めてだが、技術的には全く問題ない。これまでのテストジャンプ通りやればいいからな。
Okie dokie.
Suzuha began to flip switches, working her way through the startup procedure. She'd practiced it hundreds of times in preparation for this day. The faint rumble from the machine began to get louder.
データによれば、昔のラジカンはちょうどこの場所が屋上になってる。ただし、高さが1メートルほどずれてるからな。着地するときに衝撃があると思う。
Forgive me, Lord, for I'm about to sin. Oh, Lord. Oh, no.
了解。
Well, we've lost Golden. Oh, no. Golden's sitting. The time machine could move through time, but not space. To arrive at the radio building more than 60 years in the past, she needed to launch from right there. Right here, sorry.
トラブルが起きても冷静にな。トレーニングを思い出せばいい。
大丈夫だよ。私は父さんのマシンを信じてるから。
Her words must have meant a lot to him, because he stuck out his lips towards her. She squished them back with her hand. Oh, man.
気持ち悪い。
Yes, your dad is Daru. You know.
悲しいな。鈴葉は父さんが嫌いかい？
I don't think anyone likes you, Daru.
父さんがやるとなんか下心があるみたいだから。
Bro, what do you even mean? Daru has negative riz.
いくらなんでも娘相手に下心なんてねえよ。
最近母さんに似てきたハスハスとか言ってたのはどこの誰？
I'm gonna puke. Oh my god. Her mother wasn't here. She'd become a victim of the war, brutally killed by the peacekeeping squads. Oof.
冗談を真に受けないでくれたまえ。
Jokes! Okay, sure, man. Sure, Dar. That is the biggest cope I've ever seen in my life. That is cope to the max, dude. Unbelievably cope. Yeah, I've seen Yuki.
なんだ、冗談だったの？
Suzuha's voice sounded kind of disappointed. She set the destination for August 13th, 1975. Her first mission was there. It's just a prank, bro.
それじゃあ父さん、マヨ姉さん。
Daru be like, I hit on my daughter as a prank, bro. It was a prank. She was about to say her goodbyes, but then... Oh! Suzuha drew her gun from her holster. She was about to get out of the time machine, but her dad stopped her.
ダメださっさと飛べ
でも父さんたちが
俺たちのことはいい早く行け鈴葉
そんなだって
マヤシ係ちゃんをこのマシンにはもう一人乗れる
Mayuri and Suzuha's father picked up the stunned Kagari and stuffed her into the time machine.
すずちゃん係をお願いわかった
If Suzuha's mission succeeded, the world line would be rebuilt, and it was likely that the present Kagari would cease to exist. It might have been pointless to send her. But even so, a mother wants her child to live. Oh, I guess that's why we don't see him. I see the kid when she time travels. Puts it on his YouTube channel, Duncan with Dar. Jesus. Ugh. That's how Suzuha's mom was, too. Kagari finally seemed to understand what was going on. She called out to her mom. Oh.
大丈夫だよ係ちゃんすずちゃんが一緒だからねダメママも一緒じゃなきゃダメ過去へ行けば昔のママがいるよ今よりずーっと若くて係ちゃんびっくりするだろうな
Ugh. Mayuri handed Kagari a tiny keychain. It looked old, it may have been a brightly colored green once, but now it was completely faded.
ママがずっと大切にしてきたウーパのキーホルダーだよ係ちゃんにあげる大事にしてね
Not the Oopa, man. Oopa, the mascot character of the Rainet Kakeru anime. A dog-like virtual pet with an egg-shaped cylindrical body and short, stubby arms and legs. Comes in many different colors. It can't talk, but it can communicate by crying Oopa or Oopa! Nice. Once it was pressed firmly into Kagari's hand, she stepped back. Mayuri was smiling, but weeping at the same time.
いや行きたくないママと一緒にいるママ
Oh.
ダメ係おとなしくしてなさい
I think that's the first time I've heard Mayuri get truly angry. Or not, I guess angry is not the real word, but like stern. Kagari fell silent immediately. Even Suzuha had never heard Mayuri use that tone of voice. That's how harshly she scolded her daughter. Kagari was quietly weeping, unmoving.
閉めるぞ
This time, the hatch really did begin to close. The inside of the machine and the outside of it. The two worlds were about to be completely cut off from one another. Whether Suzuha's mission was successful or not, she'd probably never see any of them again.
すずちゃん本当に係をお願いねあとオカリンに伝えてシュタインズゲートは
I'll take one for the team and be Mayuri's replacement daughter. Oh man, that's a terrible fate to beseech on Mayuri, man.
絶対に諦めるな、大バカ野郎ってな。
Oh, by the way, guys, Elden Ring update. I've beaten Godfrey, the first Elden Lord, and Morgott, and now I'm in an ice place in that game. Made it to a tundra place. But yeah, I've been making some progress.
Okie dokie.
It's about halfway through the game. Damn. Hey, I'm making money. My current build, I've got like a full set of like Banished Knight armor, and I'm dual wielding the Moon Veil and Uchigatana. And then the door was sealed shut, and Mayuri and Itaru's voices disappeared along with the chaos outside.
父さん、大好き。
She whispered towards the door, now sealed shut.
行くよ、かがり。かっこええ。
She booted up the time machine.
橋田さん、掃除機はどこ？
Oh. Suzuha snapped back to reality. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. Yuki was getting closer to the development room she was hiding in.
そのカーテンの危な！
Man, I do not like Daru's Steins Gate Zero sprite. I mean, I don't like Daru in general, but his Steins Gate Zero sprite looks weird. It looks downright strange.
この奥？
僕が持ってくる。
Itaru motioned for her to stop and then quickly slid into the room. As he reached down to pick the vacuum off the floor, his gaze locked with Suzuha's as she hid under the desk.
バレないようにしてよ、父さん。
オキドキ。
ありましたか？掃除機。
あ、うん。
Evidently, Yuki was trying to be nice by cleaning up. The girl I pulled being silly and having the hope of humanity. Oh my. Why does it have to be Daru that, like, saves the world, man? I hate it. I hate it here, man. The place was pretty messy right now, knowing Yuki's personality. Suzuha could imagine she'd want to clean it. Otaku rice. Oh. Itaru grabbed what looked like a vacuum cleaner off the floor and left the development room.
何ですか？それ。
未来ガジェット5号機。
What was future gadget number 5 again? Once again, I've made a worthless object by Goemon. Future gadget number 5. The future gadget of your dreams made by connecting a dryer and a vacuum. It uses the exhaust from the vacuum in the dryer. The name comes from the famous anime about a phantom thief, Lupance III. They had to give him some redeeming quality. That's literally just them coping. They're like, you guys can't hate Daru. Everyone would basically be dead without him. You can't hate it. You can't hate Daru. Love our character that's a terrible person. Future gadget number 5 is the Tutru handmade machine that makes a Tutru sound when activated. Hey, Turnus, how you been, dude? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope all is well.
分解すれば普通の掃除機として使えるはず。
お掃除するための掃除機なのに、分解したらかえって散らかすことになりません？
あう。
橋田さんって頭がいいのに時々うっかりなことしますよね。
そうかな。
でもそういう人の方が私好きだな。
What is Yuki's standards even like? I can't imagine what Yuki sees in Daru. Goal never propose that kind of question ever again.
なんだと。
Itari started to panic again, and Suzuha sighed.
ただ生活については見直した方がいいと思うんです。お部屋の掃除はできれば毎日した方がいいですよ。ここ特に埃っぽいですし。それだけじゃありません。食事のこともそうです。今日もカップ麺だったんでしょ。
なんで知ってるん？
お台所に食べ残したまま放置されてます。
なるほど。
それにお菓子もこんなにたくさん。食べ過ぎだっていつも言ってるのに。
一応気をつけてはいるのだぜ。うん。
一応じゃダメです。あんまりカップ麺やお菓子ばかり食べてると病気になっちゃいますよ。あと少しは運動すること。
Daru can't handle him getting the facts thrown at him. Yuki Amane was saying the exact same thing that Suzuha had just said. Perhaps they really were mother and child. Suzuha was just beginning to feel a little homesick when she sensed another visitor approaching. The door to the lab opened, and a greeting she'd heard many times before resounded throughout the room.
ごめんね、ユキさん。ちょっと遅れちゃった。
It was Mayuri, coming to see Yuki. But there was another presence there too.
まゆりちゃん、こんにちは。岡部さんも一緒だったんですね。
Oh.
おかりん、久しぶりじゃん。
It's so weird seeing Okabe through, like... It's so weird, like, staring at Okabe as a sprite rather than just playing as him.
ああ、久しぶり。
When she heard his voice, Suzuha ground her teeth a little. Alright, now we're going back to Okabe.
興味深いわね。
なんだって？
聞こえなかった？興味深いと言ったの。
What is?
まさか行きたいとか言い出すんじゃないだろうな。
ぜひお願い。
話すべきじゃなかったな。
I was standing in the middle of Ikebukuro with a smartphone in one hand staring up at the sky. I'd been trying to talk to the Amadeus Kurisu as much as possible lately. Sometimes I'd contact her, and sometimes Kurisu would contact me. It didn't feel any different than having a friend who lived in the real world. Talking on a smartphone in a crowded place like this was a little embarrassing, but I told myself that compared to the things I used to do, it was nothing. I'd chosen harmless topics for our discussion, but it still reminded me so much of talking to the old Kurisu that I sometimes forgot myself. I'd done just that now when I accidentally told her about the lab. She had seized on it.
あんたが今話したそのラボ、オリジナルの私は行ったことが？
ああ、いや、
はっきりしないわね。どっち？
ないよ。
Carissa had been part of the lab in the Alpha World line. In this world line, she died before ever becoming a lab member. Of course, she'd never even known where it was.
お前は勘違いしているようだから言っておく。ラボと言ってもラボじゃない。ただのお遊びサークルだ。それに
Suzuha was living there right now, and Daru spent a lot of time there. If they found out about Kurisu, things could get complicated.
言いかけてやめないでほしいわけだが。
なんでもない。
いずれにせよ、外の世界をいろいろ見て回ってみたい。今までは先輩や教授と話す時も研究室の中ばかりだったから。
だからこうして日曜の朝っぱらから池袋を案内してやっているだろう。
10 a.m., even at this hour, the area in front of Ikebukuro Station was crowded. It was gonna get even more crowded as it got closer to noon.
なんなら乙女ロードまで連れて行く覚悟はしていたんだけどな。
何よそれ。
お前の知らない世界が広がっている場所だな。
待って、今調べた。
本当に興味が湧いたか？
そんなわけあるか。
There you go. There's the Kurisu we know and love.
とにかく今日はあんたのラボに連れて行ってよ。私に話して聞かせた以上、責任を取りなさい。よろしくね。
This is dangerous. True, it is dangerous to get attached to something that's not a real person. But still. Am I ever one for caution? No, no. And then she hung up. It was like I was her own personal taxi service. Kurisu couldn't move on her own, so there was no getting around that, but...
まったくわがままなやつめ。
I have a theory. Nice. What theory is it? She didn't seem to think very highly of me. I don't trust Leskinen? Why not? He seems like a nice man. At this rate, she might start treating me worse than a servant. Too nice. Hey man, some people can be too nice. He does look like a vampire. Dude, don't tell me it's Dio in disguise! No! Is it just gonna turn into JoJo Part 1 all over again? Oh no. Maho had a point last stream. Why did he hand over Amadeus to you immediately? A good question indeed. But he could just be too nice. The real Kurisu was one thing. Or no, maybe it wasn't. But being treated that way by the artificial Kurisu was incredibly humiliating. Wouldn't it be a humiliation for all of humanity?
これはなんとかすべきかもしれん。
As I mumbled to myself,
あれ、オカリ
Kono Leskinenda! Oh no, he's gonna steal a kiss from... Carice's dead. I don't know. Mayuri called out to me. She was carrying a lot of bags. Reality, what's up, man? Good to see you. It's probably materials for one of her costumes.
ねえねえ、今誰かと話してなかった？
How are you? I'm doing good. We're back with some more Steins Gate Zero. Some good old Steins Gate. Koitsu wa Leskinen meda. He's using us to make the ultimate Kurisu dating sim. Glad to hear and exciting. Yeah, yeah.
お今のは大学のゼミの友達だ。
そっか。今日も遊びに行くの？
いや、今日は別に予定はない。まゆりはこれからバイトか？
ラボでユキさんと待ち合わせ。
ラボ。
Was this good timing or bad timing?
そうだ。オカリンも久しぶりに一緒に行かない？ユキさんの手料理も食べられるよ。それとね、マユシーも頑張って作る予定なのです。
You got it, Mayuri. I believe in you.
そうかな。
And thus led to this, I assume. In the end, I went with her.
えへへ。
ずいぶん嬉しそうだな。
嬉しいよ。
Mayuri had been smiling the whole time. But I was the opposite. The minute I got here, I was so nervous. I felt like I was about to throw up. I didn't really want to see Suzuha.
あおう、岡部じゃねえか。
Oh, Tenoji.
お、
They didn't even change his sprite. I mean, I guess there's not a whole lot to change, but it's so jarring. Seeing an OG Steins Gate sprite next to a 0-1. Oh, man. A CRT TV shop located on the first floor of the multi-purpose Ubiyama building in Suichirocho. At the very back of the store is a very rare 42-inch CRT TV. Yugo Tenoji, the owner of the store, also owns the building. It only gets a few customers a day, but strangely enough, it's been one of the few stores that survived over the last years in the constantly changing landscape of Akihabara. You can't improve upon perfection. True. The door to the Bronte workshop on the first floor opened, and out came the building's owner, Yugo Tenoji.
店長さん、てってる
おう、
うわー、T シャツ1枚で寒くないですか？
鍛えてるからな。
When I'd been living in the lab, I'd given him the nickname Mr. Brown. It had been a long time since I'd seen him.
岡部、その様子じゃちゃんと大学生やってるみたいじゃねえか。
どうも。そういえば家賃ってどうしてるんだっけ？
I asked Mayuri instead of him. I used to give it directly to Tenoji, but...
橋田がちゃんと振り込んでくれてるから安心しな。
そうですか。
おう。
This man... Was he a rounder in this world line too? Nope. Let's see who we got a message. A call? No, not a call, it doesn't seem. I think it's a message. Okay, yeah. Oh, Maho. How did things go with Kurisu after that? Can we do something about her mouth? That one sounds funny. Kurisu. She can be really nasty. She's what you call a tsundere. A tsundere? I don't know what that is, but are you sure you didn't just tick her off? Kurisu does not suffer fools gladly. Oh, that's great. I couldn't help but be wary of him. That's why I'd started to put some distance between us. If nothing else, I'd avoided trying to interact with him.
じゃあね、あんま暴るんなよ。
Tsunoji saw that I'd gone silent and went back inside. Mayuri looked over me with a worried expression.
大丈夫？やっぱり帰る？
行こう。
Tsunoji didn't matter. What mattered was, why was I here? You like Zelda, right? How's that new one? Oh, I've never played a Zelda game in my life. I hear a lot of people really like it, though. Did I feel like something needed to change? Or did I really want to show Kurisu the lab? I went up the stairs, still unsure of the answer.
てるー。
Mayuri went in first.
ごめんね、ゆきさん。ちょっと遅れちゃった。まゆりちゃん、こんにちは。
I peeked inside the room. Daru and Yuki were there. Their eyes went wide when they saw me.
岡部さんも一緒だったんですね。
お、オカリン、久しぶりじゃん。
ああ、久しぶり。
I quickly scanned the room. There was no sign of Suzuha. Part of me was a little relieved.
入っても。
自分のラボで遠慮とかねえよ。
Dude, fair point.
それもそうか。さすがにこの状況でクリスを呼び出すことはできなさそうだな。
Well, why don't we try? You can't tell me what to do. You can't tell. Oh, I. Oh. Oh, wait. Oh, no. That didn't work either. I followed Mayuri to the lab and tried to relax my legs by sitting on the couch, but I didn't feel relaxed at all. It felt like my skin was crawling. I glanced over at Yuki.
ゆきさん、そのお洋服かわいい。まゆりちゃんにそう言ってほしくて着てきたんだよ。いいなあ、まゆしんも着てみたいのです。後でお洋服取り替えっこしてみる？サイズ合うかな？
I'd heard about Yuki's future from Suzuha too. I still couldn't believe someone was this pretty was going to marry Daru. Hello, Kurisu.
なんだ。
そろそろラボに着いた頃かと思って。
I ran into the development room in the back, clutching my smartphone.
お前結構暇なんだな。
どうして声を潜める？もしかして私のことをお友達には知られたくないとか？
当たり前だろ。
I hadn't even checked with Maho and Dr. Leskinen to see if it was okay to tell other people about Amadeus.
まあいいわ。状況はなんとなく理解した。
Kurisu lowered her voice as well.
少しでいいから部屋の中を見せて。カメラを掲げてくれるだけでいい。
まったく。
I sighed and held the smartphone up to my chest. I spun it around once, like I was taking a video with my camera.
汚すぎ。
最初の感想がそれか。
ごめん、言い直す。ガラクタだらけね。
Actually just said the same thing. That wasn't much better. Well, it was true.
研究室というのはど それにしてもこれはひどい。真帆先輩の下宿先といい勝負ね。
どうも。
そういう個人のプライバシーを暴露してもいいのか？
あんたからも先輩に言っておいて、部屋はちゃんと片付けた方がいいって。
そんなこと言ったら噛みつかれそうだ。
まあでも。
Oh, shit. I accidentally clicked off the game. Kurisu paused and smiled.
こういうルームシェアみたいなの少し憧れてた。人が集まってるところを見ると居心地はいいんでしょうね。
クリス。
Yeah, Kurisu in the Alpha World line, you said the same thing.
お前は本当は？
おじさん、誰と話してるの？
Oh. Uh-oh. I suddenly heard a girl's voice from under the desk and was so surprised I screamed.
誰だ？
黙って。
お前スザ？
Was she hiding? But why? Daru, Mayuri, and Yuki heard me scream and ran over to see what the problem was.
おかり、どうしたの？あれ、そこにいるの、鈴葉さん？あっちゃー。
I mean, to be fair, you kind of just jumped the man, Suzaha. Of course he's gonna be surprised. Suzaha looked upset. It was only then I realized who she was hiding from.
次のニュースです。明和党の駒沢康和衆議院議員が企業から不正献金を受けていた問題で、駒沢議員は今日10時から記者会見し、議員辞職する意向を表明しました。
Someone had left the TV on and it was playing the afternoon news. Suzaha knew no one was watching it, but she used the remote to turn the volume up anyway. She wanted to keep the girls in the shower room from hearing us. I could hear Mayuri and Yuki laughing from the shower. Things had gotten really awkward when Yuki had found Suzaha, but Mayuri quickly came up with a plan. At first, her plan was for the three of them, including Suzaha, to shower naked together. And hopefully get Yuki and Suzaha more comfortable around each other. But Suzaha said that the shower room was too small for 3 people and refused. Based. Suzaha was staring up at the ceiling. How is it Okabe's fault? No, seriously, how in that situation was Okabe's fault? You cannot blame Okabe. You hid from him, and then you jump-scared him like a freaking Five Nights at Freddy's robot. You can't blame that on him, dude. What do you mean? It's both of their faults.
教えるタイミングなんてなかったじゃん。つうかオカリンさ、スマホ片手にブツブツ喋ってたけど、何してたん？
それは、
誰かと話してたよね。
そういうアプリがあって、試しに使ってみたんだ。
Is that the only reason Suzaha gave to refuse? Huh? What?
Oh, ギャルゲっぽいやつ。オカリもそういうのやるようになったのか。
That'd be the worst ending. He acts like we gave her the Undertaker's signature move, the tombstone pile driver.
そういうことなら後で僕のおすすめアプリ教えるよ。
That the shower's too. Oh, I guess so. I guess I'd managed to fool them about Amadeus.
何にせよ私がうかつだったよ。おじさん、さっきは驚かせてごめん。
そもそも彼女から隠れる必要があるのか？すでにダルの妹で通っているんだから、こそこそする方が逆に怪しまれるだろう。
Suzuha had tried to avoid Yuki to begin with. Just meeting her father was enough to potentially cause a time paradox, she said. And that chance went up even more if she met her mother. But Yuki had found her before long, and Suzuha had been forced to say she was Dara's little sister. Yuki believed it, so why make things any more complicated?
そうなんだけど、母さんが思った以上に私と仲良くなりたがるんだ。あまり会話しすぎるとボロが出かねない。
自分とよく似てる人間が現れたら、嫌悪するか興味を示すかのどちらかだろうな。
And Yuki Amane was the latter.
嫌われた方がずっと楽だよ。
いっそ事実を打ち明けるわけにもいかないか。
I don't know if it's just me, but does Suzuha in Steins Gate Zero look basically entirely different from Suzuha in Steins Gate? Like her face and her sprite looks entirely different from the Steins Gate one. Like it doesn't even look like the same person. Right now, only a few people knew that Suzuha was a time traveler. Me, Daru, Mayuri, and Fer- Wait, why does Ferris know? Wait, that was all.
つうか、このまま何も説明しなくていいんじゃね？天音氏はなんつうか、秘密とか無理に聞きたがるような人じゃないと思うんだよね。鈴葉ならよくわかってるんじゃないか？
Why doesn't Luca know? I don't know. Why does Mayuri know? Not Mayuri. Well, Ferris know is the better question.
確かに未来の母さんはそんな人じゃなかったけど。
じゃあ大丈夫だって。いずれ時が来たら僕からちゃんと説明しとくよ。
本当？
I mean, I agree, Golden. It doesn't explain much.
ああ。
わかった。父さんに任せる。
Suzuha nodded.
で今後は天音氏を露骨に避けるのやめるっつうことで。
うまくやれるかどうか自信ない。
大丈夫だって。
お前が言うなって話だけどな。
ん？
さっきだって相変わらず苦手意識出しまくってたじゃないか、お前。
僕のことは今はどうでもいいっしょ。
Oh, what? Can we go back to the Rhinet tournament? No. No. And then the conversation came to a halt, which meant we started thinking about the voices coming from the shower room.
つうわけで。
Oh no. Daru opened his mouth. Perhaps he couldn't take it anymore.
ニコ生見てもいいかな。ブラチューの生特番があるんだ。
I have no idea what that even is. Bloodtoon, an anime called Bloodtoon, the animation. Originally a manga, it was animated last year. The show drew a lot of attention from anime fans, and the main heroine, Sarah Orgel, became popular enough to have many figures. Nico live streaming? A live streaming service offered by the major streaming site Nico Nia video?
不許可って言っても主張するんでしょ？
Man just said, I'm gonna be honest.
じゃあどうぞ。
Suzuha sighed and Daru sat in front of the PC and put his headphones on.
何？おじさん。
いや、仲のいい親子だと思ってさ。
そうかな。
It's Japan's YouTube? Wouldn't Japan just use YouTube? I'm pretty sure YouTube's like a globally used site.
ああ、未来でもダルはこんな感じだったんだろ。
もっと痩せててかっこよかったけどね。
It's a Japanese It's a Japanese exclusive competitor. I see.
想像もつかないな。
うん。
Yeah, most of my friends use YouTube. And the conversation died again. There were a ton of things I needed to talk to Suzuha about. But that was why I couldn't say a word. Maybe it was the same for her. Since there was nothing else to do, Suzuha and I turned back to the TV. The news was still on.
今日、東京銀座でフランスのファッションブランドル・パラディのオープニングイベントが行われました。
As the newscaster spoke, I could see over 100 women lined up in front of a store.
平和だね。
YouTube is currently blocked in 6 countries. It's not a lot in the grand scheme of things.
私が物心ついた頃には、すでにこんな光景は存在しなかった。
On the TV, a girl in pretty outfit was talking to an interviewer.
羨ましいな。彼女たちは誰も殺さなくていいし、誰にも殺されないんだね。
Jesus. Interesting how this Suzuha compares to the CERN Worldline Suzuha, where it wasn't mainly about that, it was mainly about the fact that people looked dead inside. Because the Suzuha from the CERN Worldline was more like a dystopia. This isn't a dystopia though, it's just straight up like a world devastated by war. China, North Korea, Iran, Turkmenistan, Eritrea, North Sudan. I mean, none of those really surprised me.
私が育った時代はさ、相手が男だろうと女だろうと容赦なく殺さなきゃいけなかったんだ。次の瞬間には自分の命が終わるかもしれない。そんな恐怖が寝ても覚めてもつきまとってた。
The anti-fun countries.
恐怖を忘れるためには狂気に身を任せて自分が殺す側に回るしかなかったよ。
That was war. That was Suzuha's life. I'd been to too many nightmarish world lines, but none of them were that bad.
父さんたちはタイムマシンのことで反政府組織とみなされてね。
Daru had made the time machine that brought Suzuha here. It was far more powerful than the one that existed in the Alpha World line.
私も軍から離脱して父さんたちに加わったから警察や治安部隊に追われることになった。それからはもっともっとひどい戦闘が何度もあったよ。正義のための戦いなんて綺麗な言葉は使いたくない。たくさん殺したし、友達や仲間も大勢殺された。その中には私の母さんもいた。
Huh? Daru was still staring at the computer screen, but I could see him twitch. He must have been listening to Suzuha while he pretended to look at the screen.
軍の無人機から私を守ろうとして機銃掃射で死んだよ。
Oh, okay. I thought that the way she worded that, I thought she made it sound like she killed her. This is the first time I'd heard how a Yuki Amane died. She was in the next room right now, having fun in the shower, and that was how she was gonna die?
この目でズタズタにされていく母さんを見た。この全身で母さんの生温かい血を浴びた。
Maybe the reason Suzuha didn't want to talk to her mother in 2010 was that she didn't want her asking about the future. There was no way Suzuha could tell her that.
ねえ、おかりおじさん。
At some point, Suzuha's eyes had started to overflow with tears.
この世界線の行き着く先は地獄しかないんだ。今すぐじゃなくていい。時間切れにはまだ少しだけ時間があると思う。だからもう一度だけその考えてお願い。お願いだよ。
俺は
I knew it. In my mind, I knew it. The right thing to do was to do as she asked. But...
死にたくないよ。
Oh. The sensation I felt when the knife slipped into her flesh, and I took the life of the girl I loved. It went from my hand to my arm, and then to the rest of my body, and I started shaking. My vision blurred, then almost went black. My hands went to my mouth. It was a wave of pain like my stomach was turning inside out.
おじさん。
大丈夫か、おかりん。
ああ、悪い。
Suzuha poured me a cup of water and I gulped it down.
ごめん。こんなことまだ話すんじゃなかった。
いや、大したことない。大丈夫だ。
I sank into the sofa and tried to calm down.
鈴葉の言いたいことも気持ちもよくわかるんだ。けど俺は何度も世界線を漂流してきた。こことは違う世界線でタイムマシンに運命を翻弄される人たちを見てきた。
I looked straight into Suzuha's eyes.
お前の非業の結末さえ見てきた。俺自身もそれに巻き込まれて何もかも無力だってことを知った。
Humanity was powerless before the laws of this world.
タイムマシンを使って世界線を改変するのはこの宇宙の仕組みから逸脱することだ。俺たち人間が手を出していい領域じゃない。いわば神の領分なんだ。それに触れれば俺たちはもっともっと残酷な罰を受けることになる。俺はそう思う。
The Nico site region locks a lot of the cool videos. Oh.
それがオカリンおじさんの答えなの？
少なくとも今はな。
そう。
ただの逃げだとなじってくれてもいい。
うん、そんなことしないよ。
Suzuha looked up at the ceiling and sighed. That must have been a habit she'd picked up lately.
続いてのニュースです。厚生労働省はアメリカで猛威を振るっている新型の脳炎ウイルスについて、今のところ日本国内での発症例は報告されていないと発表しました。
Encephalitis.
ただ、この新型脳炎は潜伏期間が長いことから、すでに国内に上陸している可能性も否定できないとして、感染症法に基づき、全国の医療機関に対して新型脳炎対策と感染症発生動向の速やかな調査を指示しました。ここからはお茶の水医科大学の春山壮子教授にお話を伺います。春山さん、この新型の脳炎というのは具体的にはどのような症状が出るものなのでしょうか？
新型脳炎は感染力は弱いのですが、潜伏期間が長く突然発症します。症状としては幻覚や記憶障害が主ですね。例えばそうですね、会社で仕事をしていたはずなのに気がつくと家にいたりですとか、会ったこともない人に会った記憶があるというような症例が報告されています。あとは実際には発生していない事件が起こった覚えがあるなどといった記憶の混乱も現れているようです。夢と現実の区別ができなくなったり、時間感覚を失ったり、周りの人と記憶が一致しなくなるので錯乱状態に陥ったり、いわゆる寝ぼけているような状態、デジャブのようなものと言えますが、もっと症状がはっきりしています。
It does sound like reading Steiner, because we saw that people that aren't even like that weren't even there when Mayuri had some of her deaths could see Mayuri's death, like some of her friends, so they could be going through reading Steiner. The name of a strange sensation, deja vu. The name of a strange sensation in which you feel that you've been through a situation before, even if you know that you can't possibly have done so. The sensation is strong and realistic enough that it cannot simply be attributed to forgetfulness or imagination. But since you can't remember when or where you experienced it before, it causes a strong feeling of unease. The cause of this sensation is still unknown. One theory says it is the result of an extremely rare, but temporary disjunction between the parts of the brain that govern recall and memory. Another theory says that it's a result of temporary spasm of the hippocampal gyrus.
治療法についてはいかがでしょう？
他の脳炎と違いまして、適切な治療を受ければ比較的速やかに完治することが分かっています。ですので、もし国内で感染者が出たとしても、それほど恐れることはないと思いますよ。
The reporter was still talking, but I couldn't hear what she was saying. The information I just heard was shocking. A new kind of encephalitis? I knew the symptoms she was describing. Losing the ability to discriminate between dreams and reality. Losing your sense of the passage of time. Your memories no longer match those of the people around you. That was exactly the same as reading Steiner. Oh, Suzuha time. August 13th, 1975. The interior of the time machine smelled like metal and was covered in instruments of different sizes. The girl inside was sobbing. It had been almost an hour since Suzuha had left to go look around. She'd assumed that Kagari would have stopped crying by then, but she'd had no such luck.
いつまで泣いてるつもりだ。しっかりしなきゃダメだ。まゆ姉さんの気持ちを考えろ。
Encephalitis is the inflammation of the brain, it's not a disease itself. Oh. Kagari Shina looked up at Suzuha, her face wet with tears.
だから泣くんじゃない。鬱陶しい。
Suzuha walked over to Kagari and knelt down so they'd be at eye level. She had no intention of spoiling her. Her goal was to save billions of lives, and this was her first mission.
いいか、これからはカガリもワルキューレの一員とみなす。私の部下として扱う。非戦闘員じゃないからな。
Valkyrie? Demigoddesses from Norse mythology. There are many Valkyries, and at least several dozen are given names. They chose who will die on the battlefield and who will be victorious, and they take the souls of those who fought bravely to Valhalla to prepare for the coming Ragnarok. Skuld, one of the three Norns and the goddess of the future, is a Valkyrie.
ここは1975年だ。知ってる人間は誰もいない。父さんもマユ姉さんも出生してない。つまり、誰も守ってくれないんだ。自分の身を守るのは自分だけだと思え。いいな。
Kagari was a brave girl, and she finally realized that now wasn't the time for tears. She tried to stop crying, and it wasn't working well. But it was a lot better for her emotions than sobbing. She was a smart girl. Suzuha knew that.
あまり時間がない。この時代の人間にタイムマシンが見つかったら大騒ぎだ。
The machine had landed on the roof of the radio building, which wasn't a spot that people visited often. The chances of anyone finding it were slim. But in this era... What? Well, that's awesome, Golden. I'm happy for you, man. Let's go. Making big money moves. I hope all goes well. I'm so don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. It's not gonna help you. When you do the interview, you just be you, man. You be confident. You gotta be confident. You got this, buddy. I believe in you. The machine had landed on the roof of the radio building, which wasn't a spot that many people visited often. The chances of anyone finding it were slim, but in this era, they had no one to help them conceal it. That meant they couldn't stay long. She needed to finish her mission quickly and move to the next time period.
何か失敗したら、またタイムマシンで時間を戻ればいいんじゃないの？燃料の問題があるんだ。ジャンプできる回数は無限じゃない。肝心の場面で動作しなかったら話にならない。そうなんだ。立てるか？
Suzuha stepped out of the machine and beckoned to Kagari. She really does look like Karisu, doesn't she? Kagari looked surprised. Her eyes were narrowed at the bright sunlight. The sky above Tokyo in this time period was too dirty to be called blue. Smoke and dust clouds filled with who know what were rising from the rows of smokestacks. It all combined with black exhaust from the cars that scurried along the ground to create a smog so thick you could literally see it. The sky above the city was covered by a veil of death. But still, it was the first clear sky that Kagari had ever seen. She'd only ever known from books and videos that the sky could be this bright. The nuclear weapons used during the Third World War had changed the weather over Tokyo, and their sky was constantly covered in dull gray clouds. The sun's light was always weak when it shone through them, and it was never this bright.
私が子供の頃はまだこんな感じの空だった。少しだけど覚えてるよ。
Suzuha looked up at the sky too.
空気が美味しい。
In 2036, you needed a filter and a mask to go outside for any length of time. Compared to that, 1975 was a lot cleaner.
わかるだろ、かがり。父さんたちがどうして世界線の改変に全てをかけていたのか。世界線がどうとか、歴史がどうとか、そんな理屈は後でいい。今はただ、この空の色を守りたいと思えば。
Kagari slipped her hand into her pocket and took out the faded green Upa keychain. She stared at it with a sad look on her face. She was probably thinking about Mayuri, her mother. And she was probably trying to understand what it meant, that her mother had put her inside the time machine. Suzuha decided that Kagari was alright now and closed the hatch on the time machine from the outside. The lock flipped on automatically. The only person who could open it now was Suzuha, whose biometrics had been loaded into the system ahead of time. Even if someone did find the machine, it'd be a while before they found out what it was.
かがり、これを見ろ。
Suzuha handed her a printout of a photo. It's the IBM 5100.
これ何？ IBN5100 っていうレトロ PC だ。
Why is that important now, though? IBM's first portable computer, which went on sale in 1975. The design includes an integrated monitor and keyboard, and while it is described as portable, it weighs almost 25 kilograms. In the 2000s, John Titor revealed that there was a special computer language that could only be used on devices of this type, which was not described in the manual. IBM's developers would later admit that he was correct. But an IBM 5100 is real? They're probably just talking about the IBM 5100 of Steins Gate is fictional. It's not like some god computer that hacks into, like, the government. That's probably what they mean by fictional.
私たちの時代に存在していたものはどれも満足に動かない。けど、この時代なら感動品が入手できる。これを手分けして探すのが私とお前の最初のミッションだ。うん。連絡はこれで。
She handed Kagari a small transceiver.
通信できる距離はかなり短いらしいから気休め程度だと思え。オーキードーキー。
Very nice.
90分ごとにこのビルの前に集合。状況を確認。それを繰り返す。いいな。オーキードーキー。いい返事だ。
Suzuha nodded and patted Kagari on the head.
よし、ミッション開始。
I got very dark very soon. Suzaha was on top of the radio building in 2010 looking down.
35年か。
That's how long ago it had been in real time since she'd spoken to Kagari here. From her perspective, it had only been a few months, so what happened to Kagari? The view from up here had changed a lot since then, and in the next 26 years it would change even more. She'd seen for herself how this building changed over a span of 61 years. The thought didn't make her feel sentimental. Instead, she felt the loneliness and fear that comes from having a past not shared with anyone else. Using the time machine to change the world lines means breaking the rules of the universe. Rintaro Okabe's words flashed through her mind. Still, lately, she'd been thinking more about Kagari. She'd been searching the city at regular intervals. She was looking for Kagari Shina. She didn't even know if she was in Tokyo. She had no clues. She didn't even know what Kagari looked like now. So maybe it was a waste of time. Even so, she had to find Kagari herself. But she hadn't had any better luck today. She turned around and looked toward the time machine. She would come here every day. Her primary reason for coming was to see if her father, Itaru Hashida, had been here. Anytime she let her guard down, he would come to try and examine it. She told him it would cause a time paradox, but he didn't listen. She needed to keep constant watch. To be honest, she had a lot of things she had to do. And then she heard the metal door to the roof open. Was it her dad? She squinted into the darkness, but the person she saw was much smaller than Itaru, and had cat ears coming out of their head. Alright, so it's Ferris.
いたいた。すずにゃん、こんばんはだにゃん。なんだ、ルミ姉さんか。
Ferris Nyan Nyan had a spring in her step as she approached Suzaha.
ルミ姉さんって誰のことかにゃ？フェイリスはフェイリスにゃ。ルミ姉さんはルミ姉さんだよ。
Ferris's real name was Rumiho Akiha. She was Daru's friend and had helped them in many different ways in 2036. So Suzaha had known her ever since she was very young, and had always called her Big Sis Rumi. For whatever reason, in this era, she always wanted to be called Ferris, though. When Suzaha asked why, she simply responded, Ferris is Ferris, yeah, an answer which meant nothing to Suzaha.
ラボに誰もいなかったからこっちかなと思ったら正解だったにゃ。はい、差し入れ。余り物で悪いんやけど。
Ferris showed her a cake box with the logo from the maid cafe where she worked, May Queen Neon plus Neon Squared.
父さんがラボに不在でよかったよ。
If he ate something like that at this hour, he'd get even fatter. Just in case you forgot.
ダルニャンじゃなくてスズニャンへの差し入れにゃ。私に？なんで？にゃふふ、好きなくせに。
Ferris grinned and nudged Suzaha on the side with her elbow.
私は別に。アップルタルトにモンブラン、あとイチゴのショートケーキもあるにゃ。ほら、おいしそうだにゃ。
Ferris opened up the box and showed her what was inside. Suzaha could smell the sweet cream and fruit. Come on, Suzaha, one snack won't kill you.
さあ、今すぐおいしく食べるといいにゃ。心置きなく食べるといいにゃ。ほら、あんして。その可愛いお口に食べさせてあげるにゃん。冷蔵庫にしまって明日食べる。 すずにゃんはストイックにゃ。
Ferris laughed and handed over the box.
賞味期限は明日だから明日中に食べなきゃダメにゃぞ。ありがとう。
Sav, my man! What's up? How you doing?
どういたしまして。
Ferris gave her a mischievous wink and looked up at the time machine besides them.
ダルニャンのタイムマシン研究の方はどうかにゃ。頑張ってはいるみたい。ルミ姉さん、このマシンまだここに置いておいても。
Suzaha looked around the roof as she asked. It was solely thanks to Ferris that no one had really noticed the massive object on the roof. She was the heir to a rich family that had a lot of influence in this area, and had contributed a lot to the development of Akihabara. She was helping to hide the time machine.
このフロアというか屋上はフェイリスが借り上げちゃったから平気にゃ。オーナーさんには体感ゲームの研究をしてるって言ってあるにゃ。ちょっと苦しいわけにゃけど。助かるよ。気にしないでいいにゃ。この世界のエレメンタルを売薬兵たちの魔の手から救うためならフェイリスはいつでも協力するにゃ。
The Byaki? The what? The Byaki, winged interstellar creatures that appeared in the Cthulhu mythos. They were created by August Derleth, the co-creator of the Cthulhu mythos along with H.P. Lovecraft, and appear in such stories as the House on Kerwin Street. They are described as being chimera-like creatures around 3 meters tall, with the wings of a pterosaur, the legs of an eagle, and the tail of a bees. You mean a stinger. Despite their terrifying appearance, they understand human speech, and if they feel it's in their best interest, they can even work together with humans. In space, they usually travel around 1/10 of light speed, but an organ called the hoon in their tails allows them to travel faster than the speed of light. The Byaki are supposedly servants of Oster, the god of shepherds, a creation of Ambrose Bierce, author of the famous Devil's Dictionary. How's the world without Carisi treating you? Rough. Very rough. It's okay, it's okay. Our current copium is that we have Amadeus. That's our current copium. The 4 elementals, the spirits who control the elements of earth, water, fire, and air. Their existence was first proposed by the Swiss alchemist Paracelsus in his book. The Book of Fairies. He described them as beings not dead, like ghosts, but not alive, like humans, and as being spiritual creatures of an extremely nebulous nature. Paracelsus struggled to explain exactly what they were, and in the end decided to classify them as things. He divided them as follows. The element of earth is controlled by the pygmies of the mountain, or the gnomes. The element of water is controlled by the nymphs of the water, or the undine. The element of fire is controlled by the salamanders of the fire, or the Vulcans. The element of air is controlled by the sylphs of the wind, or the sylvestris. Paracelsus' theory had a huge effect on alchemists and authors both of his own and later generations, who filled in the gaps in his work. In the fantasy genre in particular, elementals have become a mainstay. The VTuber Kurisu is the copium, noted exactly. We've got VTuber we've got Iron Mouse Kurisu, it's fun.
そう。昔から、いや、今からしたら未来か。思ってたんだけどさ、ルミ姉さんの話って時々すごく難しくなるんだよね。一体何語？
What language is that? That's a good old language of the Chunibyo, a rare species.
考えるんじゃない。感じるのにゃ。 いいやいいや。寒いにゃ。フェイリスはお家に帰ろうかにゃ。
In the end, she never could get an answer. To Suzuha, Ferris was always a great mystery.
送っていくよ。一緒に出よう。にゃ、それじゃあついでにうちでご飯も食べてくといいにゃ。そういうつもりで言ったわけじゃないんだけど。どうせ普段大したもの食べてないにゃ。すずにゃんのストイックさを見てると、フェイリスがなんとかしてあげにゃきゃーって思っちゃうにゃ。
Speaking of Speaking of languages, I found out there's a hidden language on Duolingo that's pretty much only available to users from Paraguay. But I found out how to get it on my account. Oh. Golden.
保護欲母性とにかくそういうのがかきたてられるのにゃ。
You guys think it's possible for someone to speak fluently in every language ever that's spoken today? Like every major language, someone can speak fluently in every language? I feel like that'd be dang near impossible. Unless you're some super Giga Chad genius. Every language? Absolutely not. Maybe not every, but major languages, sure. Maybe. There's people that know 10 to 20 languages. Could never be me. Could never be me, brother. That's like a Batman feat. Even the language savants can't get every language. Hold on. Before she finished her sentence, she felt someone looking at her. She glanced around.
どうしたのにゃ。
I think you can cover about 6,000 to 8,000 vocab words plus a good chunk of grammar of a language in about a year of study. Wow. That is a lot. Good enough to make it look like you're pretty fluent. I mean, it's rare to see people use, like, big words or, like, words outside of just common speech, so that's fair. 7,000 languages. Jesus Christ. She listened carefully. She definitely heard a very faint sound from the direction of the metal door that led to the stairs. It was small enough that Suzuha was only able to notice it because of her training. See, super fluent, go me! Oh man.
にゃにゃ。多分話を聞かれた。
Most of the discussion was worthless, but they talked about the time machine a little. If someone heard that. Suzuha yanked her gun out of her jacket in an instant, and in an instant ran towards the stairs as fast as she could. She heard someone running down the stairs as soon as she did. The sound, heavy military boots and a wide stride, got farther and farther away. She opened the door and jumped onto the landing. Then she raced down the stairs, skipping 3 steps with every stride. But still, it wasn't fast enough. Suzuha was born fast and she'd been trained to be faster, but it wasn't enough. When she finally made it to the 2nd floor, she could hear the loud revving of a motorcycle. As far as I'm aware, Georges Dumazil is the person who spoke the most languages. He spoke over 200! Man, do you even need to speak that many languages? Jesus. Maybe that's what I need to keep forgetting. Words in both languages. More languages. Just keep learning more. Just keep piling them on until you forget what the first language you ever spoke was. Just keep learning more. She panicked and slipped on an object that had been left halfway up the stairs. Then rolled her way to the bottom. She managed to get into the right position and protect her head, so it was her hips that struck the ground. She forced herself to stand up and run outside. She could see the taillights of a large motorcycle speeding away. The driver was wearing a black helmet and a riding suit, and already a good distance away, so she couldn't even tell if they were a man or a woman. They revved their engine loudly as if to mock her, and they spun a corner and disappeared onto Center Street. Oof. A little later, Ferris caught up.
逃げられた。それ、しまった方がいいにゃ。
She put the gun in her hands back in her jacket holster and brushed away her hair that sweat had stuck to her brow.
今の誰にゃ？わからない。けど、一般人じゃない。訓練されてる。と思う。訓練？階段に何か落ちてなかった？
Oh, you think maybe it was Moeka? Possibly.
バッグが転がってたにゃ。ちょうど死角になる位置だった。多分わざと落としたんだよ。しかも私がそこを通るタイミングでエンジンを空ぶかしした。見事に引っかかったよ。トラップってことかにゃ。
I trust Moeka more than I trust Leskinen. I can't see why.
ああいうことがとっさにできるっていうのは特殊な訓練を受けてるからだ。じゃなきゃ無理。
Suzuha glared in the direction the bike disappeared and started to think. Who was it? CERN? It was an unofficial CERN group, the Rounders, that was searching for IBN 5100s in Akihabara. Rentaro Okabe had told her that. But he'd only encountered them in another world line.
誰かはわからないけど、私たちの他にタイムマシンのことを知ってる奴がいるのは間違いない。
Was it that they knew about it but weren't going to do anything more? Or did they intend to steal the time machine from her? Since she didn't know, she had to assume the worst, or she wouldn't be prepared to deal with it. She looked up to the sky and sighed. It was becoming a bad habit.
ねえ、ルミ姉さん。このことはオカリンおじさんには内密にしておいて。なんで？今のオカリンおじさんが知ったらタイムマシンを破壊しろって言いかねない。危険だからって。でしょ？そうにゃけど。私は絶対にマシンを守るよ。シュタインズゲートの入り口へオカリンおじさんを連れて行かなきゃいけないんだから。それが未来の父さんとの、私をここに送り出してくれた人たちみんなとの約束だからさ。すずにゃ。わかったにゃ。その代わりダルニャにだけはちゃんと話しておくこと。オーキードーキー。
The last part was almost a whisper as her words melted into Akihabara's sky. Oh, Maho time. Maho Hyaja was fidgeting. She knew exactly why, but she didn't want to admit it.
魔法、準備はできたかい？
はい。
She awkwardly stood up from the chair as Dr. Liskinen spoke to her.
何ですか？
少しはおめかしするかと思ったんだが、魔法はマイペースだね。
Dr. Liskinen stared at her for a moment and then spoke. It was obvious he was referring to her outfit.
この前みたいにパーティーに出席するわけじゃないんですから。
あの時だって白衣のままだったじゃないか。
See, now he speaks Japanese well. What happened to his English? What? They've always kind of said he could speak Japanese. Yeah, he has a heavy accent, man.
あれは服を忘れたんです。
そうだったね。
Like his R's aren't right, right. Dr. Liskinen was wearing his translator all the time these days. In fact, he had actually told Maho to talk to him in Japanese.
さて、クリスとリンタロウはどういう関係を築いているかな？会うのが楽しみだよ。
Lintalo? Maho and Dr. Liskinen were about to head into Tokyo proper. There, they met Rintaro Okabe. It had been 2 weeks since they first asked him to test Amadeus. It was time for the first report. Of course, that was the reason Maho was fidgeting. She was nervous to meet Okabe. No, to see Kurisu for the first time in quite a while. Of course, Maho was able to talk to Kurisu anytime she wanted, but since she'd asked Okabe to be a tester, she'd tried to avoid doing so as much as possible. She didn't want her conversations to add any extra noise.
教授、出発する前に一つ聞いても？
なんなる意図？
なぜ岡部さんなんですか？
Maho had wanted to ask Dr. Liskinen that for a long time. If she was going to ask it, though, now was the time. Dr. Liskinen thought for a minute.
嫉妬しているのかい、魔法？
それは。
She felt heat flush her face. In other words, he was right. Yeah, she was jealous of Okabe. Not that she wanted to admit it.
正直、納得はしていません。クリスの話し相手なら、他にも適任がいたはずです。
例えば、君とか？
そうは言いません。私はクリスともアマデウスとも近すぎますから。
リンタロウはいい青年だよ。
本気でそう信じているなら、教授はお人よしです。人の本質を一度会っただけで理解することなんて不可能ですよ。もし彼が私たちに隠れて他の研究者にアマデウスを売り渡してしまったら、最初はそのつもりはなかったとしても、お金を前にしたら気持ちが揺らぐことだってあります。それが人間というものです。
仮にリンタロウがアマデウスを売ったとしよう。それでどうなるかな？アクセス権を手に入れた何者かはクリスと仲良くなってアマデウスそのものを乗っ取ったりできるかな？
それは。
Maho asked herself the question and then realized the chance was almost zero.
ありえません。
そう、ありえない。なぜならそんな事態になれば、クリスの方が対話を拒否するだろうからね。 エムデウスはそういう意味でとても面倒くさいシステムだよ。なかなかこちらの思い通りには動いてくれない。もちろんエムデウスが説得される可能性もあるだろうけれど、そのために私はモデルとなる人格にクリスト魔法を選んだとも言えるわけでね。
Dr. Liskinen gave her a mischievous wink.
私もクリスも気難しいですからね。そうやすやすと説得はされないでしょう。
She knew he was teasing her, so she decided to say it.
いかにも君たちは本当に容赦ない。
True.
最強のセキュリティだよ。
けなされているように聞こえるんですが。
君たちは我が研究室が誇る最強のレディーさ。
Oh man. Dr. Liskinen laughed happily. He always had a childlike innocence about him.
いずれにせよ、エムデウスの AI は一筋縄ではいかないわけでね。だからこそ面白いとも言える。そんな彼女たちを身内だけで独占していても進歩はないだろう。エムデウスが劇的な進化を遂げるための起爆剤のようなものがちょうど欲しいと考えていたところなんだ。しかもなるべく研究とは無関係な人物に預けたかった。ウィンターローは聡明だし適任だと思ったんだ。クリスの友人でもあったわけだし。とりあえず今日の報告次第で判断してもいいんじゃないか。クリスがリンターローと過ごしてどう変化したのかを見極めてからだね。私たちが見たことのないような意外な一面を覗かせてくれるかもしれないよ。
はい。
That was what was making her nervous. If Kurisu had changed into someone she didn't know, that would make her sad.
そろそろ時間だ。レオ。
Maho nodded. Let's go. Kurisu time. Amadeus time. Oh, or Okabe time, I guess. I walked onto the grounds of Yanabayashi's shrine and quietly took a look around. Several cats were sunbathing beneath the cold winter sky, but there was no sign of anyone else. Lukaka wasn't back from school yet. Okay, I could talk to Kurisu without anyone staring at me here. Let's pull her up. Well, I guess I have to wait for the game to do it. I'm supposed to meet with Dr. Liskinen and Maho after this. Can I really not just pull her up myself? Huh. Alright. Before that happened, I wanted to confirm something with Kurisu. I decided to start the app. Oh. There we go.
ハロー。
話がある。
今日はこの後教授や先輩に会う予定なのよね。その件について。
ああ。
緊張する必要はないんじゃない？基本的にはログを提出して、あとはあんたから見た私がどんな印象だったのか軽く聞かれるぐらいだと思う。
I wouldn't touch that man with an 8-foot pole. Bro busted out the Grinch rhymes.
それだ。ログだよ。それを聞きたかった。もしかしてこれまでの会話は全部記録されてるのか？
最初に話したでしょ。私は 私以外アクセス不可の領域にログを取っているって聞いてなかった？
それを今回教授とヒアジョーさんに提出するのか？
多分そう。
ということはプライベートのことをお前に喋ろうものならヒアジョーさんやレスキネン教授に筒抜けっていうことか？
あんたね、今さら
Well, it was a little late. Karisu and I had been talking for weeks. I should have asked about this when I got the access key for Amadeus.
今日になって気づいたんだ。なあ、俺これまでに何かまずいことを話さなかったか？
例えば合コンでろくに女の子と話せなかったこととか実家が八百屋さんなのにナスが嫌いなこととか。
ナスは嫌いなんじゃない。苦手なだけだ。
If that was all, I didn't really care.
あんたが最初に私と話した時にクリスティーナって呼んだこととか。
それについては忘れてくれ。
Okay, the Grinch song is a 39.5-foot pole. Would you touch him with that? Would you touch him with a 39.5-foot pole?
人の記憶は曖昧で、時間が経てば経つほど主観が入り混じるし、物語が付与され
No.
ていく。
Oh, unlucky.
その内容がポジティブかネガティブかに関係なく、印象的な言葉しか思い出さないことも多い。それに引きずられて前後の会話の記憶はねじ曲げられていく。
Huh? What was she talking about?
それが悪いことだと言ってるわけじゃない。人の記憶というのはそういうものなんだから。でもアマデウスは人じゃない。まだ研究段階の不完全な AI よ。これは教授たちにとって大きな壁の一つなんだけど、実は人の持つ曖昧さをアマデウスはまだ完全には再現できていない。つまりね、
Oh, shoot,
忘
sorry.
れるという脳の高度な機能、それを完璧には模倣できてないってこと。
でも ATF でのレスキネン教授の講演だとアマデウスは不必要なことは忘れてしまうって。
ええ、確かに忘れるわ。けど言ったでしょ、私たちはまるで秘密の日記のようにログを取ってるって。結局その中には全ての情報が残ってしまってるわけ。そしてそれをロードしてくれば忘却したはずのデータは私の記憶に戻ってきてしまう。 OK？
In other words, asking her to forget was a waste of my time. Nice.
代替案はログを消すことだけど、私にとってログはバックアップだから絶対無理。仮に一箇所だけ消去しても同じ。前後の文脈を参照してその不自然に消去された箇所を自動的に修復してしまう。それでも何とか記憶を改ざんしたいというのなら、大元のプログラムそのものをいじるしかない。
I didn't have that level of access, and I didn't understand how the program worked at all. So basically, until I told Karisu why I called her Christina, she was going to keep asking. What a pain.
で、どうしてクリスティーナ？
本当に引き下がらないな。今すぐ通話を切ってもいいんだぞ。
そうやって逃げたって今説明した通り私は忘れない。はぐらかされると かえって気になってしょうがなくなるのよね。それともあえてそうすることで私に構ってほしいっていう合図を送ってる？
構ってちゃんはお前だろう。こっちが大学の講義を受けてる最中でもお構いなしで連絡してくるくせに。それだけじゃなく LINE でまでコメントしまくってきて。
Orion, an instant messaging application developed by Itaru Hashida. If both users have... Wait, what? He made an app? Wow. Okay. If both users have it installed, they can communicate with one another via voice and chat. Since it's privately developed software and isn't available on the internet, right now only Itaru Hashida and his friends and acquaintances uses it. Why even go through all that trouble? Why not just download another messaging app? As public.
好奇心旺盛すぎる。そんな調子で無邪気に首を突っ込むといつか痛い目を見るぞ。
研究者はそれぐらいじゃないとやっていけないのよ。
She got mad at me.
そんなにクリスティーナの件が気になるなら推論でも立ててみたらどうだ？
一応いくつかの可能性は考えてはみた。聞いて。
She's really into this.
可能性その1。あんたはクリスティーナなんちゃらという名前のハリウッド女優が好きだよ。
自分がハリウッド女優並みの美貌の持ち主だとでも？
That was just mean.
見た目は関係ない。同じ名前の人に親近感を持つのと似たような意味よ。
つまりこう言いたいわけか。私は岡部倫太郎から親近感を持たれている。
単なる例え話でしょ。言葉通りに受け止めないで。
冗談だよ。
Whenever I talked to Kurisu, I always wanted to tease her. I needed to watch out.
可能性その2。あんたが昔付き合っていた彼女が外国人でクリスティーナっていう名前だった。これについてはあんたの絶望的な英語力を聞く限り絶対にないわね。
もしかしたら日本語ペラペラの金髪ブロンド美女と付き合っていたかもしれないだろ
う。もしかしたの？注目は敗北を認めることと同意よ。
すいません。
可能性その3。オリジナルの私と面識があって直接あるいは間接的にそう呼んでいた。これも確率低いでしょうね。そんな風に呼ばれたら私ならこう答える。ティーナってつけるな。
Yeah, that was exactly right. That's exactly what Kurisu said. But I didn't stop because...
照れくさかったんだ。
The genius named Kurisu Makise was the person I always wanted to be.
どういうこと？
素直に名前を呼べないから照れ隠しであえて茶化した言い方をした。
Actual tsundere. Actual tsundere behavior.
ああ。オリジナルだけじゃなくて、お前と話すのもだ。
私？
何しろモニターの中にいる女の子と話すなんて一度もない経験だったから。
それはどうも。
ん？なんで赤くなってるんだ？
赤くなんてなってないし。ただ女の子扱いされるなんて思ってもみなかったから、ちょっとびっくりしただけで。
Even that reaction was just like Kurisu.
俺はお前のそういうところが好き。
Thank you for the hydrate. Oh, they almost said that. They almost just said that for real. Ah, agua. Get moist. Like my good old favorite Twitch streamer, Moist Critical. I shuddered. What was I about to say? This was a 3D model on a screen, a tiny collection of zeros and ones in the shape of a human. What was I about to say to her? All moist you're critical? Jesus Christ.
ねえ、聞いてもいい？私たち知り合いだったのよね。つまりあんたとオリジナルの私がっていう意味だけど。答えたくないならそれでいいけど、どういう関係だったの？少し興味ある。
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
クリスティーナって呼ばれても私は怒らなかった？怒ったけれどそれでも笑っているした？
Oh god. I was hit with a violent urge to throw up. I could see Kurisu in front of me, covered in blood. She was looking at me, her eyes cold. Oh my god. Ugh.
どうしたの？ねえ、顔が真っ青。
I touched the smartphone and ended the call. Someone get this man therapy. He has been going to therapy. And then I became too dizzy to stand. And there he goes. I tried to throw up, but nothing came out. My hands were shaking. That's right. I can't change reality. But there I was, trying to talk to Kurisu like nothing had happened. I wasn't treating her like the real Kurisu and I was treating her like the real Kurisu and trying to avert my eyes from what I'd done. I was just clinging to Kurisu. This was wrong. I shouldn't talk to Kurisu anymore. The call was from Kurisu. You know dang well I'm picking it up.
なんだ？
なんだじゃない。急に切るなんて失礼。どうかしたの？
なんでもない。
でもひどい顔色してるじゃない。
本当になんでもない。放っておいてくれ。しばらく連絡してこないでくれると助かる。
あまり無理せずに誰か知り合いに連絡しなさいよ。それじゃ。
Kurisu gave up easier than I expected. Maybe she realized that as an artificial intelligence there was nothing she could do. Realized? I was making her sound like a real person. And the second that thought crossed my mind, I almost saw an image of a bloody hand. I I gritted my teeth and waited for it to pass. I should really turn my smartphone off until I calm down a little. How would I even do that? Power off. Phone went silent. I slowly stood up. If Lukaku saw me like this, he'd worry. I should get out of here. I was staggering a little, but I could walk. I felt very thirsty. I gulped down an entire bottle of mineral water and caught my breath. There was still a little time before my meeting. I wanted to get some air up here and recover a little. Looked down over the scenery below the overpass. The city was in the Christmas spirit. The atmosphere was charged with excitement. It was the exact opposite of me. I took more deep breaths. I still felt like I wanted to throw up. I was getting a headache, too. If I went to Dr. Leskinen like this, I'm sure I'd worry him. And then I realized that the two girls coming up the stairs were looking at me. I peered into the late afternoon darkness to try and make out their faces. One of them, the girl with the short haircut, waved. Oh. What time is it? Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it for today. It is getting to the 2-hour mark. So, it looks like a decent stopping place. But I think I'll be able to see you guys tomorrow. I do have a doctor's appointment in the afternoon, but I should still have time. But yeah, that'll be it for me today. But tomorrow it should be the same time as usual, about 7 p.m. Eastern time. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Mochi hates giving me content. I haven't. No. Time to binge his YouTube. But yeah. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love you. And all of you have a good one. Bye-bye.